Okay, so sorry for the delay. I was waiting for more people to join. But thank you so much for being here. Good afternoon. Um, so today's workshop is as part of a EU-funded project called the OwnYourSECAP project, and I will, when I start the presentation, I'll get into the details of the project as well. I would just like to notify everyone that we are recording this session. So the recording would be available to you guys if you want it after the workshop. But I hope that you have no problem in us recording the session. And yeah, let me just introduce myself quickly. I am Dr. Sukanya Saikia, Dr. Sukanya, and I am the Climate Action Engagement and Communication Specialist here at Tipperary Energy Agency. And I have my colleague Grace here. Grace, say hi.
Hello.
Yeah. So Grace Langley, she is the energy engineer here in TA. So we both will be presenting today in the workshop. So I will be covering the climate adaptation part and she will be covering the public lighting part. So I'll be sharing my screen. Just a second and let me know if it's visible to you guys. I hope you see the screen. I hope it's visible to everyone. Okay, Grace just says that it's visible to her, so I'm assuming it's visible to you guys. So let me just minimize this and start with it. How do I hide this? So anyway, yeah. Again, as I said, this workshop is part of the Own Your CCAP project, a new funded project, and Own Your CCAP stands for Own Your Sustainable Energy and Climate Action Plan. Just to give a brief overview of the project itself, so some of the main objectives and target values. So we are 11 countries, 11 partners in this project, including TA, and each of the countries are required as part of the project to engage with 10 municipalities, 10 local authorities in total, 4 of which are target municipalities or like experienced local authorities. So we have already engaged with 4 local authorities here in Ireland. And helping them draft their climate action plans or helping them update and review the climate action plans that are already put in place. And based on the learnings and experiences of the takeaways from this target municipalities, we would be replicating it with 6 replication municipalities or local authorities, out of which 2 are international and 4 are from Ireland. So as you can recall, if you can recall, there was a question in the registration form regarding if you would like to be one of the replication municipalities, replication local authority, and I was very happy that some people said yes, some people said maybe, mostly because of course, like at that point, you might not have been aware of what a replication municipality means. So this is what it means. So whatever we have gained in terms of learnings and experience from the target municipalities, we'd be replicating it in helping the replication municipalities draft their own climate action plans. And by the end of this project, like each year, this is a 3-year project. So each year through this project, we are aiming to reduce 9.1 million tons of carbon dioxide. So this project also contributes towards climate neutrality. And during the course of this project, we are collaborating with all the 3 categories of local authorities: experienced, replication, and less experienced. And after the project ends, we would be involved if necessary, but it would be a collaboration between these 10 municipalities. Moving on to the climate adaptation part, which is one of the topics of today's workshop. We all know that, globally, we have been experiencing a lot of forest fires. This year has been even worse because this year is an El Nino year, which means that some parts are experiencing extreme droughts, whereas in contrast, some others are experiencing very extreme cyclonic hurricane activities and cloud bursts and such events. So, with respect to Ireland, because this presentation is in the Irish context, we are prone to, these three factors, but I'll just go one by one on each one of them. But although these are three different factors, they are also very interlinked, they're interconnected. So, rising temperatures, we are experiencing hotter summers, we are experiencing longer and more frequent drought periods here in Ireland as compared to before. And globally, we have already bridged that the global average temperature has been bridged, that like it has bridged the 1.5 degree threshold that IPCC was producing in every report that to limit the 1.5 to limit to the 1.5 degree centigrade threshold, we need to do this and that, but that has already been bridged. So that report, that news came out on 17th of November actually, so very recent. So in Ireland, so sorry, just a second. So in Ireland, yeah, we are experiencing hotter summers. We're experiencing larger, longer, prolonged periods of drought. And that also impacts extreme precipitation events because rising temperatures means greater evaporation rates, which essentially means that, there is more moisture in the air, leading to cyclonic and storm activities. So extreme precipitation events and floods is what Ireland is mostly prone to. And rising sea levels, of course, again, temperatures influencing that as well because of the glaciers melting, especially in the southern part, South Pole region in Antarctica, where the ice is ice on land as opposed to sea ice. So ice on land, when it melts, it contributes to sea level rise. So that is what is happening. And Ireland being an island is prone to these three factors primarily. Moving on to some of the sectors, I mean, climate change would obviously impact all the sectors, but just for the purpose of this presentation, I'm just giving some examples. We can, again, because it's Ireland specific, we can talk about, the wastewater industry here in Ireland, where most of the wastewater treatment plants are connected to combined like sewerage systems where the stormwater and the rainwater, they both come together. The stormwater and the wastewater, they come together. And on events of storms and high intensity precipitation events, what happens is that, the treatment capacity of the wastewater treatment plants exceeded. And that is when, untreated wastewater gets released into the environment, harming aquatic life, uh, and harming, public health as well. So this is very Ireland specific, and we do see events of overflows, and that's why we need to do something about it. We need to adopt adaptation strategies in that sector. Uh, Health, as in health sector, has a crippling, climate change has a crippling effect on the health sector globally, but in Ireland as well, with warm temperatures and with newer climate conditions, more and more viruses and bacteria, they are getting introduced into our environment. And even if we are disregarding the viruses and bacteria, we are still, as humans, more prone to heat strokes during heat events, heat waves. During cold, especially when there is energy crisis, the older demographics get affected, their health get affected. So the health sector is one of the important sectors that climate change is, having a significant impact on. Agriculture, similarly, new pests are getting introduced. It's affecting the crop health. And buildings, buildings are getting, again, for being heat proof to being weather resistant, any weather. So it needs to be taken care of. And overall, everything is affecting our power generation as well. And these sectors are some of the primary sectors that climate change is affecting. And I'm just, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm just showing for the purpose of this presentation, but it is actually affecting all the sectors. Again, coming to the adaptation measures, these are, again, some of the potential adaptation measures. There are more, but early warning weather systems is one of them. It applies for all sectors. Early warning weather systems would prevent loss of economic losses or loss of lives in each and every sector. I'll go into detail for each of these examples, but I'm just listing it out right here. Coming to climate resilient infrastructure, we need to, adapt our infrastructure to being climate proof, climate smart. Ecological restoration, the local authorities now are focusing on promoting biodiversity, and ecological restoration is a way to do it. And again, I'll go into details in the next slides. Climate smart agriculture, being, for our agricultural community, it is for, sustainable food production. It is highly important to think about how we can make agriculture climate smart. And very underrated, but very, very important is community involvement. Individually, we might think that what an individual can do to reduce their carbon emissions, and it wouldn't even have any significant impact. But when individuals come together and form a community, that's when, it's a very strong, significant contributor to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So this is one of the ways to, involve them. And again, we'll go into details. Regarding the early warning systems, in Ireland, we have Met Éireann. We do have an early warning weather system from Met Éireann that issues warnings, I think, 60 hours prior to any extreme events. So it issues warnings to all the counties. But WMO, which is the World Meteorological Organization, it also has an earlier warnings for all their own tool, which they are hoping that it can, give early issue warnings to all means all the citizens of this world, and prevent loss of life, loss of infrastructure, loss of money. In like early warning weather systems, of course, it is helpful for all sectors, but I would say that there should be more robust early warning systems sector-wise. For example, decision-making tools, which would give weights to different factors and help, stakeholders arrive at a decision. For example, there can be models for predicting exceedance of wastewater into the environment under different climate scenarios. So these models or decision support tools can be built or are already there, but more research needs to be done. But these are, I think, sector-wise early warning systems are very important to take into consideration. Moving on to climate resilient infrastructure, again, like all of these are interconnected. I think, in Ireland, the waste infrastructure needs to be more solid, needs to be put in place with like with stringent requirements, because we still see, segregation's not been done, and that impacts our environment when we're talking about climate, when we're talking about, decarbonization, and when we're talking about adaptation. We need to have a solid waste infrastructure to tackle that. And again, community involvement is very necessary in this. That's why I say these are all interconnected. But nature-based solutions, nature-based solutions green-blue infrastructure. So green-blue infrastructure basically incorporates the green and the blue element of nature, which is like forest and water, into the urban environment. So you can see like vertical buildings with vegetation nowadays, that can help in weatherproofing the building as well, help maintain the optimum temperature in the building, also minimize their energy consumption. It can also be weatherproof, help protect the inhabitants from different weather. So green blue infrastructure is such one of those and examples. Even for tidal infrastructure where they are prone to coastal flooding, mangrove forestation is known to break tidal waves, and it's known to protect tidal communities, coastal communities. So this is one of the nature-based solutions, and there are many. Again, we need to take into consideration local knowledge and local conditions in order to incorporate these solutions. Uh, for example, we are transitioning towards electric vehicles, but we need to have that infrastructure, those charging, points all over the country that would support that kind of demand of electric vehicles. Similarly, energy transition as well. We need to make sure we need to have policies that would ensure affordable pricing for renewable energy, so that more and more people get motivated to transition towards renewable energy. So this all comes under climate resilient infrastructure. Moving on to ecosystem-based adaptation, as I said, we are all talking about decarbonization, but one of the cheapest and most natural way to ensure decarbonization is to have healthy forests, healthy oceans, and healthy soil. They are the largest carbon sequesters available free to us, but wetlands is also one of the it acts like sponges. It absorbs a lot of water and helps prevent flooding as well. And it also attracts a lot of biodiversity. It attracts a lot of migratory birds. So wetlands needs to be protected. Natural sea defenses like mangrove, again, there is coral reefs as well. So healthy coral reefs, again, break tidal waves. And again, to ensure that there are healthy coral reefs, we need to have healthy oceans. Because even the life beyond life below sea, life below water, they are also huge carbon sink. Whales are one of the largest carbon sink. So we need to ensure that we have healthy oceans for that. And landscape restoration, there could be agroforestry, there could be assisted natural regeneration. So these are some of the landscape restoration techniques that promote biodiversity. Moving on to climate smart agriculture, with newer pest attacks and all over the world, we could use technology like drones to monitor crop health. We can do geospatial analysis, suitability analysis based on based on the soil health and soil pH and everything. What crop would be the most suitable, which would be the most feasible, which would not, which would ensure nutritional value as well. So we can, of course, we need stakeholder engagement in this sector. We need their collaboration. We need their cooperation. So climate smart agriculture is the way to do it. Like this technologies needs to be, briefed to them in order for them to incorporate this to be resistant towards climate change. Lastly, community involvement. As I said, we need to be sharing stories in a relatable way. We need to, ensure that there is clarity of message. They are involved in the process. They feel that they are a part of the process as much as we are. We need to incentivize in order to bring in behavioral change, because it's very difficult to induce behavioral change without incentives. We need to provide a safe space for them so that they can come together and brainstorm, identify problems, identify solutions. There are a lot of organizations as such. I know personally is one called Makers Asylum. It's not available in Ireland, but we need to ensure that we have such spaces where communities can come together, they can collaborate with us, and they can identify solutions, because they are the ones who are also experiencing the problems on ground. So education and training as well, through workshops, courses, fun activities like composting lessons, for example, because when we talk about climate neutrality, food waste is one of the biggest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. And dealing with food waste, is very crucial, and it would be one of the most potent factors to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, because it emits methane, which is much, much stronger than carbon dioxide. Providing composting lessons and talking about segregation, all these things would involve the community, and it would help in adaptation. Lastly, this is my last slide, and I'm just including those UN SDGs, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are relevant to this presentation, but they are all relevant otherwise. But the factors that I have mentioned in the previous slides contributes, if we are adopting the adaptation strategies mentioned, it would, contribute towards fulfillment of good health and well-being. For example, for wastewater, for waste management, for the health sector, it would ensure good health and well-being, quality education with the help of workshops, courses, etc. Clean water and sanitation, as I said, again, wastewater, preventing it to overflow. Affordable and clean energy, as I had already mentioned, strong infrastructure, resilient communities. Climate action is for all, like everything that I've discussed contributes towards climate action. And Ireland, being an island, it's even more important that, we have healthy oceans. So the life below water, it would impact that. It would impact, of course, life on land. And on a broader aspect, I feel like partnerships and collaborations, not just county to county. Of course, county to county, they have their own climate action plans, they have their own goals, but collaborating and coming together to achieve bigger goals for the country as a whole, that would be great. So yeah, now I will be handing over to Grace. So Grace, you can take it on. I'll share the screen if you don't mind. That's fine.
Okay, hello everyone.
Just
okay. So, oh. Okay, so hi, my name is Grace Langley. I'm a graduate energy engineer with Tipperary Energy, and I work in the regional and community engineering team. If you have any questions or anything about public lighting while I'm presenting, just put in the chat, or our emails will be at the end. So if you have any questions, you can send them on to us. So yeah, I'm just gonna move on to the first slide where we'll talk through the focus of the presentation. So I'm just gonna walk through public lighting surveying, presenting survey data, and then tying in surveys into the bigger picture of the local authorities. So on to the next slide. So I'll just walk through what a public lighting survey is. So it is an important part of conducting an energy audit on public lighting infrastructure for a local authority. The survey typically contains information on existing public lighting infrastructure, including where the light is located, such as the street name or the address, the TMPRN, the technical metered point register number, the wattage, the lamp type, and if it's able to dim or trim time throughout the night during operation. Following a public lighting survey, typically data analysis is conducted on the gathered data. So this would include the calculation of energy consumption, operational costs, and generated carbon emissions. then ideally the analysed data should be compared to previous usage data or a previous unmetered inventory. So I'll go through the presentation of the data later on throughout the presentation. So first question is why should public lighting be surveyed? So conducting a public lighting survey helps establish a baseline on current infrastructure in a local authority. This baseline guarantees the accuracy of energy calculations, ensuring that assessments are built on solid and reliable data. It is common for differences to be found between the unmetered registry, the UMR, versus an actual inventory found during the survey. So differences between the two inventories can be due to factors such as retrofits not being included in the unmetered registry, inaccuracies in the existing inventory, or new installations not added either. So potential inventory issues that could arise during survey include quantity of light variations. So a public lighting survey can uncover a difference in the quantity of lights previously thought to be owned by the local authority. This could happen in situations where double counting of lights occur. This is where, for example, a SOX or a SON light has been replaced with an LED, yet both lights are still on the inventory and the energy supplier thinks that both lights are active when in reality only the LED is using electricity. Another inventory issue is under or overpaying for energy. So this ties in where where there could be a difference in the actual energy use, so that could impact how much a local authority is paying for electricity, which also ties into carbon emissions and the amount of emissions reported to the MNR. So this will affect the baseline, and any potential improvements may not be accounted for. Then asset ownership clarification. So this acts as a preventative measure, reducing any potential legal challenges and safeguarding local authority from unnecessary legal troubles in the event of public safety damage or issues, just so that if there is damage, so the local authority knows that they own the lights, they need to fix it. Then of course maintenance issues. So if a local authority is unaware of public lights not in their inventory, there may not be maintenance carried out, which could potentially cause public safety issues or reduce the life of the light. And finally, the lux levels. So surveying helps to optimize lux levels. So the amount of light coming from each light, it makes sure it's appropriate for each area and make sure each area is being illuminated appropriately. So that's just make sure there's enough lighting in each area. Next slide, yes. So once all the survey data is gathered, you receive quite a large volume of data in your inventory. So it's important to what to do with the data once it's been analysed. So if we take this data here as an example, so in the unmetered registry, there was a count of 10,000 SON lights, which were using 2 million kilowatt hours of electricity. So when a new survey went around and figured out that there was actually only 8,000 lights, the kilowatt hour usage went down, and so did the cost and the carbon. So the graph itself can easily visualizes the data, highlighting the contrast between unmetered registry and then the updated survey inventory. So this situation can also work both ways. You can also find more lights in your survey, which is quite common as well. So we'll move on to the next slide. So here is an alternative way to present data as well. So these are pie charts kind of showing a breakdown of the lighting available in a local authority. So for the purpose of the presentation, I've just highlighted the sun and the LED lights, just so there isn't too much data on the page. So so yeah, you can easily see, you can easily compare data. So if you look at the inventory count of sun lighting, it takes up about 39% of that pie chart. Whereas if you compare it to the energy consumption, there is a larger amount of energy used by sun lighting, even though it's got a smaller percentage of the inventory. So you can really visualize the efficiency of lights and things. And then these pie charts can be compared to data gathered from a previous inventory or from a new survey. So it shows you where you're at in terms of lighting types and their consumption. So then tying public lighting into the bigger picture, the overall consumption of carbon emissions in the world and all that. So I'm sure many of you may be familiar with this graph. It's the gap to target local authority graph. So it's just of a typical local authority where it might be typical numbers here. So we'll just move on to the next graph. So this is just a zoomed in version where we can really see the details here. So yeah, so far we've looked into details of public lighting and data analysis. So we're just tying in how the survey ties into the big picture. So it becomes evident that public lighting plays a pivotal role in local authority emissions. So projects such as LED retrofits can't just happen alone. They have to happen with other projects. So as consumption reduces, it kind of goes towards the final goal. Yeah, as can be seen here, public lighting is a substantial contributor to greenhouse gas emissions within our local authorities. While exploring potential LED retrofit upgrades for public lighting, it's crucial to recognise that isolated improvements will not be enough. Rather, these upgrades must be done in conjunction with thermal and transport upgrade projects. Alone, LED upgrade projects may not achieve our carbon reduction goals, but when integrated effectively, they become important steps towards reaching our 2030 targets and ultimately achieving net zero emissions by 2050. So yeah, that's the presentation there, and just a brief overview of surveying, public lighting, and thinking about the bigger picture for the future. So yeah, if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat, or you can email us there. So yeah, that's all from me.
Thanks, Grace. Just a second. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please let us know. We hope that this was an informative session for you all, and our contacts are there, and you can put your questions in the chat box as well if you have any. And this recording, again, for the people who joined later, this recording would be available. So if you would like to have the recording, just reach out to me. And if you would be if you'd like to be part of the replication local authority for this OwnYourSECAP project, which I had mentioned earlier, please reach out to me, and we could collaborate on building your sustainable energy climate action plan. So yeah. I would also, if no one has any problem, like we could have a collective screenshot of the photos, if you do not have any problem in turning on your cameras, for just as a project output, we need that photo. So we'd really appreciate if you would be okay with that. So yeah. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks. Just take a screenshot. Yep, got it. Thanks. And again, if you have any feedback as well, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to do our future workshops, take into consideration your feedback. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
Katie, I think, do you have, I thought she had a doubt. I thought, okay, you didn't have a doubt. You just said goodbye. Okay.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Wait, let me, now how do I save it? Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Stop recording.